Hello beer tubers, Peter the Master of Hoppets here. Today, checking out some more pumpkin ale. It's the pumpkin ale season in the States, and I've been lucky enough to find some in Europe because I actually enjoy pumpkin ale, contrary to most Europeans. I actually like this style. So it's a fun style because I kind of discovered it through YouTube because a lot of YouTube beer reviewers that I followed in the States reviewed a lot of pumpkin ales. And I thought it was like sounding like such a nice style. And I was lucky enough to try a few select amounts, like Southern Tier Pumpkin back in the day. I tried Pumpkin from Dogfish Head, which I think might have been the first. Hollow Frogs, Hollow Pumpkin Ale, something like that from Hop and Frog, and also Midnight Sun. But I recently found a web shop called J&B Craft Drinks, which is in the Netherlands, and they get like loads of, I found them on Instagram, they get loads of American like, kind of hype beers, Fidens, Treehouse, Trillium, like all kinds of stuff, which is insane. I think they do like small private imports of the beers. But they got a selection of pumpkin ales, and that was actually my first order on their shop. Not high pays, it was pumpkin ales. I was like, what? Oh, this is so nostalgic. I really want to try this. Because there was a lot of pumpkin ales from breweries that I've heard of back in the day that I never tried. That I thought would be fun to try. Let's dive in. We got Shipyard today. We got 2 for 1 because it's the same brewery, so I thought I'd pair them up. There's also 2 beers from Southern Tier, so I thought I'd pair them up. But I vividly remember the reviews people gave on these, especially Pure Geek Nation. Let's dive in here. Let's start off with Pumpkinhead. So this is the little brother, they say, kind of to Smashed Pumpkin. And it's a pale wheat ale with fall spices. That sounds a bit interesting. So blend of pumpkin spices they've got in here. They've got, they suggested you drink it with a pint glass rimmed with sugar and cinnamon. Okay, interesting. And it says flavored ale as well. So I wonder if they put natural, does it say natural? Yeah, both say natural flavoring. So maybe they're using extracts to flavor it. I'm not sure. Ale will natural flavor added. But it's from Shipyard in Portland, Maine. And I've never had a Shipyard beer. I just remember vividly, again, especially this Smashed Pumpkin. And then something with blueberry as well. I don't remember what that was called. Let's see what it's all about. So pours a quite clear, slightly golden yellow color in the glass. Almost looks a bit like a darker Helles or something like that. It's darker than that, isn't it? It's also interesting to choose a pale wheat ale, American pale wheat ale, to do a pumpkin treatment on. That's super odd. I would have never thought of that. Poured out with a white head as well, frothy white head. Let's check out the aroma. So it smells gourdy. I just actually roasted some pumpkin for making pumpkin pie tomorrow that I want to pair with some of the beers. And I did that to make my own pumpkin puree because we don't get canned pumpkin puree in Denmark. But there's a gourdy aroma, but this is like, compared to the first beer, this is so much milder. It almost seems like a macro interpretation of the style. There's a little bit of a chewy, bready maltiness. There's definitely cinnamon fall spice vibes, but it's really, really, really light smelling. It really smells like a massive brewed beer, and I think Shipyard might be. I don't know who owns it or any, like if it's independent. I think it's independent because they put the independent sticker on there, but it smells okay. There's almost like a little bit of like Big Red gum on here. Is it Big Red? Yeah, the cinnamon gum. Like it's really like slightly artificial cinnamon note. Let's try it. Cheers. Oh man, wow, what a difference from the first beer. This is like so different. The first beer tasted literally like a pumpkin spice latte. This tastes like, it's super generic. Like really, it tastes like lightly flavored, fall flavored beer. Like you can't say that much about it. But there's definitely a pumpkin-like flavor to it, which is, I think, is a plus. I mean, you want it to taste a bit like pumpkin as well. Quite crisp, lighter body, but it's a pale wheat ale. There's even a hint of citrus here, citrus zest, like orange zest or lime zest or something. Crackery, kind of wheaty, fluffy, I don't know, fluffy really, but crackery, wheaty kind of maltiness to it. It's like, what a difference compared to the first beer. Wow. Maybe not feels like macro, but it feels like a very, very massive brewery making something that most people can enjoy. This really reminds me of like craft beer for the masses. This is such a big thing in Scandinavia right now as well. Like Brooklyn, for example, is everywhere, where it's brewed in Sweden in a collaboration between Carlsberg and Brooklyn. Carlsberg has their Grimbergen range, their not Jacobsen range. Royal Unibrew has Anarchist, and then the medium-sized, bigger breweries. We don't have that many of them, but Vestfyn and Tisted and like stuff like that. It reminds me of a beer that these guys would produce. It's like super light, gentle spices. You can kind of taste what they're there. It's like, it's just a bit like, It's not bad, but it's just like, like it's kind of just boring. You could smash a few of these. If you think of it as a session pumpkin beer, I guess it could work well. But you want, like, to me, pumpkin ale, from the small amounts I've had, you want a beer that's like a bit full and robust and like made for the cold weather and the festive season. Not like a weird sessionable wheat ale. I don't think this is that great. I don't think it's terrible, but it's just like, nothing special. Now I don't have my hopes that high for the next one. But let's swish around and dive into the smashed pumpkin. It looks much darker, almost looks a bit like, kind of like a buck or something like that. Just a little bit darker than your average buck. Maybe some of my bucks look like this, don't they? But yeah, they also use German malt in here, or at least German style malt. They use Munich whole wheat pale ale malt. The hops are Willamette and Saphir. It's 9%. And it says that it has pleasing aromas of pumpkin, cinnamon, and burnt sugar. Yeah, as I said, it looks kind of like buck-like. Beige-ish head. Let's check out the aroma. Wow! These, like, I remember people loving these. This smells so boring. So boring. And it smells like, again, it smells like beer for the masses. This one has less gourdy kind of nuances compared to this. But it has more like pumpkin pie kind of crust to it. Very soft, generic fall spice. Like, I think, again, cinnamon stands out a bit. A touch of alcohol. It's very, like, it's very understated. Wow, I like, that's so weird. I really just remember people raving about this. Let's try it, see how it is. Cheers. There's definitely buck style flavors to this. The Munich malt really shines. It's almost like you took a bock and then fermented it with ale yeast. It's fairly clean, so I'm thinking they used like USO5 or something like that. And then just added hints of festive flavors. It tastes a bit like brown sugar, generic, super soft generic pumpkin spice, and then the pie crust. I don't really taste a lot of like pumpkin flavor compared to Pumpkinhead, which is weird because this one doesn't say it has pumpkin, and it says this has pumpkin. It definitely tastes better though. It's not like a terrible beer. They are not terrible beers. They're just like a bit. They just seem like a bit more run of the mill. Kind of like if you go to the supermarket and you want some pumpkin ale for the season, this is what you'll find. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just like, it's just lacking depth and complexity. Like the other one was also, the first one I had was quite different because it just screamed in your face. Was like, it literally tasted like the pumpkin spice lattes from Starbucks, but still also oddly like beer. These are more beer first and then everything else second, and I think they are probably, especially this, is more balanced. The other one was not that balanced. And I think this one is warming up to me just a little bit the more I sip on it, because I'm getting a little bit more of a festive kind of pumpkin spice flair. Maybe a whiff of toffee, but otherwise it's like Munich malt kind of breadiness, lots of it, and that kind of crusty pie crust. And there is more than cinnamon. There is like, it's a blend of spices. It's probably like allspice, cinnamon, nutmeg, clove. But it's like, it's soft and well blended, so it's hard to say is like something that really sticks out. Whereas this was like, yeah, it tastes like cinnamon extract. You can smell it too, like Big Red. It's like Big Red gum. Wow, jumping back to this just seems so dull. Even more so than it was in the beginning. This nails the idea of pumpkin pie better, for sure. And I'm really warming up to it the more I drink it. It seems like also from a bigger kind of brewery. I don't know how big Shipyard are, but it's just like brewed on a large scale. It's very like tightly brewed. It's sharp. It's clean. It's like there's no really off flavors, it seems like, which is impressive. But I think they're also somewhat fresh. Oh, again, this Julian dating. I guess they are. I know a lot of American breweries start brewing these during June and July. It seems like this is the gateway into experiencing pumpkin ale, kind of. Like you drink something like this, it's got a good sweetness. I think the carbonation is a little bit high because the body is like somewhat slick and silky. It's not like full, but it's slick and silky, but the high carbonation makes it a bit fizzy. But that's just me. But it seems like this is a good introduction. So if you've never had pumpkin ale, this is where you start. Smashed pumpkin. Because it tastes a bit like pumpkin ale or pumpkin pie, but without being abrasive. So grades, 86 maybe, 85, 86, 87 maybe even actually, 86, 7 for a smashed pumpkin. The more I sip on it, the more I'm also getting like, as it warms in the glass, like breadiness and robust kind of maltiness and malty flavors that reminds me of Box, which I like German Box. But this bad boy, I don't know about this, man. It just feels like you did some kind of wheat ale. It's like you're trying to capitalize on the pumpkin fall season and just like, we need to make something for the masses that's festive themed. It's gonna be super light and toned down and like, it's just something, oh, it's Halloween, let's get this. Like, that's exactly what I'm thinking, because it's so light on all parameters of flavor that like, oh, I like it. Like, oh, it tastes like beer. Like, that's kind of like what I think people would think when they drink this. It's like, oh, like they're not going to sit and analyze. It's just, it seems like it's for an audience that's just like, they just want to drink something that's Halloween themed for Halloween, so they drink this. Yeah, what are we going to give that? It's really not that great. I'm really thinking below 80. I mean, it's not terrible. It's just like, it seems almost like a little bit soulless. It seems like a mass-produced, like, supermarket macro beer. Like, this one definitely has much more character. 78? 79? Like, this is definitely not the best pumpkin ale you're going to find. Trust me. But this is better. But so far, the winner of all the ones is the first one. The pumpkin spice latte from Left Hand. That was so fun. But yeah, this was a long video. I'm not sure I edited a lot of stuff out. But if you guys had a chance to try Shipyard's Pumpkinhead or Shipyard's Smashed Pumpkin, let me know what you thought of them. Really fun to try them. If you want to try some pumpkin ales, check out J&B's Craft Drinks. They didn't sponsor the video or anything. I just want to give them a shout out, because if you want to try the style, that's probably the only place you can find it in Europe, because this is something we never see otherwise. So check them out. I can put a link in the video for their shop. But yeah, pumpkin season is upon us. I'm looking forward to the rest. I'm really looking forward to be revisiting Pumpkin from Southern Tier. This is going to be the first time I drink a Southern Tier beer in like 10 years. If you guys had these, let me know. As always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Ring the bell for future notifications about videos. And I'm going to say cheers in my favorite of the two, Smashed Pumpkin. And see you guys in the beer review.